Thanks for staying with us. And Bill O'Reilly in the Unresolved Problem segment. Tonight, Americans who follow the news, and that's about 50% of us, well understand that a new immigration law is in play. There are two contrasting views of the law, one put forth by President Obama today in Nevada, the other proposed by Florida Senator Marco Rubio. Here is where the two plans differ the most. Rubio and some in the Senate want border security tied into any new bill. President Obama does not. Also, the senators want a probation period for illegal aliens in case they commit a crime or something. The president does not. He wants to give illegal aliens legal status right away, not as citizens, but as workers. Joining us now from Washington, Fox News analyst Charles Krauthammer. So do I have it right, in your opinion?
Well, I think
the difference
you do.
is?
Yes, but I think the Senate bill is a little bit softer. The proposed Senate bill is a little softer than advertised. It is true that you have to get a certification that the border is closed, is enforced, the border security is working, before you can go on to get a green card and go to citizenship. However, what most people have not noticed is that in the Senate bill, the bipartisan bill, there is essentially instant legalization. The day it's signed, everybody get what you call probationary status. But look, what that means is that everybody who's here comes out of the shadows, registers with the government, tells them where they work, where they live. It is utterly inconceivable that that is ever going to be rolled back because a commission somewhere says the border isn't sufficiently enforced.
And I think everybody knows that it's more of a symbolic gesture than anything else. But Senator Rubio was on his program recently, and he said, look, you got to do this because, you know, it's a chaotic situation. But as far as citizenship is concerned, there isn't going to be that unless the illegal alien, who is now going to be able to work in this country, because I do believe this will pass, goes, Rubio says, to the back of the line and applies like everybody else, and it's going to take decades for him to get citizenship. Does that matter?
Well, what it means is they are going to have to wait years and years for citizenship, but they're not going to back of the same line that people waiting in Hong Kong and in Brazil are in, because they don't get into the country, to settle in the country, to work in our country for years. They have to wait in Brazil.
Yeah, the illegal aliens are rewarded for their bad behavior.
Here. Well, look, I'm not against this. I've been for amnesty for over 7 years. But the thing I've tried to insist on, and I think has to be the core, is that you have to close the border first.
Sure.
Because if the American people believe that these 11 million are the last cohort to come in, they will be completely generous, as we've always been, to legalize them. But if they think that we're going to get swindled the way we did in 1986 when Reagan signed the same thing and gave amnesty with a promise of enforcement, we're going to end up in 10, 20 years with another 10 million.
You got to be quicker than that.
That's what we're trying to avoid.
Do you believe the border? Look, all the stats on the border are favorable to what they were. And part of that is the recession. There aren't as many jobs for people to have at that you know, the lower echelon. I don't know. I mean, I haven't been down there in a while. I'm going to go to Arizona in a couple of weeks. I'll look around. Do you believe that they're making big progress on the southern border?
Absolutely not. This is a function of the recession. People come here to work. If there's no work, they're not going to come here. In fact, many Mexicans and other Latin Americans who've come across the southern border, some of them have gone back because when construction collapsed.
Right.
So that's the explanation. I think you can't rely on this temporary lull and say, well, the border's closed.
But they spent billions of dollars, Charles, on the technology and the border fence and beefing up everything, and you're telling me it hasn't worked?
Absolutely, and not only me, the Secretary of Homeland Security. This talk about high-tech fences is absurd. In 2006, the Congress passed a lot of money to build a high-tech fence across the border. 2 years ago, Janet Napolitano canceled the project. She spent $1 billion to do 53 miles of it and realized it doesn't work. What's this nonsense about high-tech fences, you know, drones and all that? What about a regular fence? And don't tell me it doesn't work. The Israelis constructed one across the West Bank, and the terror attacks are down by 99%.
All right. So you believe that they haven't done what they should do down there, and that has to be done before the other stuff kicks in.
If you hear the word fence, you will know that they are serious. If you hear the word high-tech, you'll know they are not. It's very simple. Fences have worked for 5,000 years, and they work everywhere.
Right.
Why don't we build one and then legalize people who are here illegally?
All right. Charles Krauthammer, everybody, as always.